There's always been pressure to fit in and, on top of that, to look a certain way. Haircuts, clothes, body shape. And with social media now part of our everyday lives, it's taken things to a whole new level. So a group of MPs is looking into the impact of body image on mental health and also vice versa, and how cosmetic procedures are marketed right now. One person that you've heard from is Charlie King, who you'll recognise from The Only Way is Essex. Let's take a look.
I'm humiliated.
I haven't done it.
I've heard her side of the story, therefore I don't want to just sit here and act like, yeah, mate, cheers, let's have a good night. When there's been a situation. And not only that, when I
As a reality TV star, social media influencer and personal trainer, he knows the topic very well, and I'm delighted to say that Charlie joins me now in the studio. Charlie, how do you think the marketing of these procedures needs to change?
I think it's quite evident that there needs to be a lot more of an overhaul on how things are marketed in this side of the beauty industry. Things look so glamorised through social media and using influencers that consumers, everyday people look and think that it's very easy, it's an easy answer and it's going to make me feel great, when the reality is things can actually not go to plan and be quite detrimental to people.
Speaking of which, tell us about your lockdown story and what you were telling the MPs about that.
Yeah, so obviously I was in Parliament today and I was part of the select committee looking at how body image does impact mental health. And unfortunately, I made some wrong decisions, which I've been speaking about. I started with an aesthetic procedure, which then led on to a cosmetic procedure, which didn't go to plan. And it's caused me so much mental trauma, living with it on the daily.
Well, we've got pictures here now, so tell us what you wanted, what you were looking for there.
So I was under the impression that I could make an improvement with my nose specifically, and the surgeon agreed. So for me, it was a no-brainer that I would go and have a surgery which would improve me.
And we can see one picture there, that's after, not before, is that right?
So that's after, and I've had to live with that on the daily for the last 18 months until I can get that fixed.
So, so many questions. I mean, you think there should be a cooling off period, is that right? Or some sort of mental assessment?
I mean, I'm trying to make something good out of this situation because it has floored me. I believe that when I went in for that initial consultation, risks should have been outlined a lot more specifically. There should have been a little bit more focus in on my own mental well-being, and anyone that's going in to meet a surgeon or a specialist has to understand that things can go wrong and how you can mentally prepare for that.
But if you had told the surgeon, no, I really want to go ahead with it, I'm absolutely sure, what is he or she supposed to do?
It's a good point, but it's down to them as professionals to at least outline the risks involved and make sure from their side that they've done duty of care with mental well-being of their patients to make sure that they are right for surgery.
On social media, I mean, of course, people have always tried to change their body shape and improve themselves, and, you know, cosmetic surgery's been around a long time. How has social media changed that environment?
I think social media is something that we spend a lot of our time consuming images now. We compare ourselves a lot to people, and it can become quite a toxic thing. So it's about understanding what's really real and what is the reality of actually going ahead and doing those procedures. It's not the quick fix you think it's going to be, especially if you're someone like me that's got body dysmorphia. It affects 1 in 50 people. It's a very draining condition.
And just quickly on non-surgical procedures like Botox and fillers, they're looking at regulating that. What's your take on that?
Absolute regulation is needed. You need to know what you're going to be signing up for when you're having these procedures. Again, you can have adverse reactions, and also if you're going in to change something about you, that automatically is showing that you have an insecurity, and it might be an appearance condition.
Yeah, well, they're looking at regulating that. I think a lot of people can't believe it's not regulated, but they are looking at regulating that, aren't they? And you feel it's going in the right direction?
It's definitely going in the right direction, and being part of that committee today and giving my experience has been a real positive move, and I hope that we can continue to share this message.
Well, great to see you, Charlie. Thanks very much for coming in, and thanks for sharing your story.
Thank you so much.